Managing your cash flow is a critical task for every small business. Why? Well, because the time between paying employees and vendors and receiving payments from customers can create serious problems. Now, fortunately, your business can avoid these problems by proactive management of your own cash flow. In this video, you'll learn a few tips that'll help you manage both your payables and your receivables. First up, let's talk about outgoing cash. Now, this is one half of your cash flow equation. Here are 3 tips for you to learn for managing your payables effectively. Tip number 1, choose your vendors very carefully. Many businesses obviously focus on the vendors who can provide the lowest cost. Makes sense, right? But you also need to consider payment terms. That can also be very valuable. Paying less money but sooner, believe it or not, may actually be less beneficial to your business in the long run. So when you're choosing a vendor, evaluate not only the price of the product or service, but when you'll have to pay. Make sure the payment plan works for you. Tip number 2, pay on time. Don't do it early. If you've been extended credit for 30 days, let's say, well, take full advantage of that time. To ensure your bills are paid on time but never late, you need to use tools like online bill pay or ACH transactions. These tools will allow you to schedule payments in advance. This way you'll never miss a payment. Plus, ACH transactions and some online bill payments rely on electronic processing, which gives you maximum control over when those funds actually leave your account. Paying on time instead of early, remember this, it keeps your cash in your hands as long as possible. Tip number 3, improve your inventory management. Your inventory on hand is essentially tying up your money, so it can have a big impact on your total cash flow. So, if you have inventory that isn't generating funds immediately, you should consider divesting it. Also, make sure that your inventory management system gives you the level of detail and reporting you need to make inventory decisions. Remember, your inventory decisions should be data-driven. The other half of your cash flow equation is incoming cash. Now, here are 3 tips here for successfully managing your receivables. Tip number 1, offer quick payment methods. This makes sense, right? The faster your customers pay, the better for your business, right? Well, one option for quick payments is to start accepting debit and credit card transactions. Even if these forms of payment are not typical in your line of business, they may make some good business sense for you. By enrolling in merchant services, you can get cash into your account faster. Another option is accepting ACH payments. Now, because ACH payments occur directly between banks, they provide a very quick access to your funds. ACH transactions are simple to manage and can be set up as recurring. Tip number 2, take advantage of remote deposit. Let's say your company has to accept checks. Well, then you have to process them as quickly as possible to make sure you get the full benefit. You can avoid trips to the bank and the lag time between checks received and depositing them by simply setting up a remote deposit plan. Always use the latest technology. It'll quickly and easily allow you to deposit checks right from your office. Tip number 3, reevaluate your credit and collections policies. Let's face it, because they are so important to managing your cash flow, both your credit and your collection policies need to be reevaluated periodically. You need to make sure your credit policy contains guidelines to approve new customers and to handle future purchases by late payers. You also need to remember that not all late payers are treated equally. For example, if you did start it all up with a blanket collection policy like a lot of business, maybe you should customize it over time to ensure that it works well in all situations. Having strong policies will allow you to manage your cash flow by facilitating quick decisions, making and encouraging on-time payments as well. Considering these tips may help you manage your cash flow better. Of course, you will also need to keep a very close eye on your incoming and your outgoing transactions. Online banking is the perfect tool for small businesses to do just that. So contact your banker today. Make certain that you are taking full advantage of all the online banking services offered, as well as any other cash management services mentioned in this video. For even more information on this and other topics, be sure to check out the articles and more in this resource center.